Grand Rising, everyone. Welcome to my channel. It's so exciting today because it is New Year's. Happy New Year's to everybody. Happy 2025. Yay! We made it. It's going to be such an exciting year. It's already exciting to start with. I'm so happy to be here. My name is Melissa St. Clair, and I am a compassion key healer as well as a Reiki healer. And I would love to talk today about children and how important it really is for people, for adults, to be more mindful on what they are saying, what they are doing around their children. You know, I find it very interesting how parents want to blame their children for acting up or misbehaving or doing a certain thing that they don't like. And to truly understand, children are amazing. They are they're so connected to the universe, connected to spirit. And, you know, they're not used to being on this earth. They're not used to being on this planet. Some are, some aren't. I truly believe in the whole idea of the reincarnation. And I also believe in incarnation, which is, where they're just getting here. So, to be more compassionate towards your children, to be more understanding, and to have more awareness about what's going on with them, to actually take the time. I get it. Everybody wants to make the excuses that I don't have time because I have to work and because of this, because of that, and whatever. But I'll tell you what, I was pretty busy myself. And yet, I took the time to watch and pay attention to my son. He taught me so much. He ended up being my teacher and my hero because he showed me a whole new world of imagination. And I don't blame him for anything. I don't blame him for the way he was because I had come to learn in recent years that my son was only being the way he was because, he was very sensitive to energy and very powerful. Very powerful, and he still is to this day. Sometimes he just doesn't realize it. And that's because of what he's gone through. He's gone through between myself, with my mom, and even though my mom was such an angel, she really was. She was so beautiful. She was amazing. But I know she was going through her own animosity. But she kept it together way more than any one of the other one of us. But also my dad. My father, with his frustrations and angers, and my frustrations and angers. But I understand where it's all coming from. It's down that chain, chain reaction when you're not aware of what's going on, when you're not paying attention. And so that's why it's so important for us to truly pay attention and be aware and waking up to the realization of what's going on so that we can all be more compassionate and loving towards each other. Now, compassionate and understanding doesn't mean that there's allowed any abuse, but to understand my son acted out because his energy was so much different than the adult's energy. And he was feeling like he wasn't being heard. He felt like he wasn't being paid attention to enough. And it's not about neediness. Oh no. He could play and do the things he was doing all by himself with no problem. But he was feeling to some degree unloved. And I understand that now. I did the best I could with what I knew and what I had to work with. I will tell you though, I did something a lot different than what most parents would say. I did pay attention to his movements. I did work on being mindful of what I was saying around him. And I'm not saying the idea of being sheltered or sheltering either, but to get creative, to truly get creative on how you're speaking to your child, how you're speaking to the children. I know they all want attention. But to understand something else, people sit there and say, oh yeah, they were like this when they were born, before they were born. You know, to also understand that when a mother has the baby in the womb, whatever's going on with her, baby feels it. The baby truly feels it. And so, of course, it's going to happen before they're born because they're already being programmed to a certain degree by what the mother is showing to their child, to their baby. They're not just feeding them food, they're feeding them energy because we are all energy. Everything is energy. And once we become more consciously aware of what's going on with us, to be more consciously mindful as to how we're being, these are not blame things. This is not a blame game. We're not here to blame the parents. We're not here to blame the children. It's all about the understanding of where it's truly at when it comes to being around children, to being around babies. Because of the fact that they are that kind of aware, but they're not. They're aware something's wrong when a parent is acting a certain way, even though they're sitting there telling them, oh no, baby, I'm fine, I'm fine. They are very intelligent. Very intelligent. And to truly understand how intelligent they really are, one of these times, take the time to actually watch your child, to actually pay attention to their movements. Pay attention to your energy. Whenever you get upset and you're around your child, check it out. Check it out and see how they're going to be. Because I'll tell you what, they don't know any better, but they do know something's not right. And so to be able to find a positive reinforcement rather than constantly getting mad at them and hitting and spanking and telling them that they're wrong and horrible and calling them names and putting labels on them. People put labels on their children because they don't understand what's going on. And yet, at some point, when you were a child, you had your own things going on too. And you didn't like it when mom and dad did a certain thing a certain way. But you didn't quite understand what it was, but you also knew there was something just not right. Children pay attention way more than you realize. Children pay attention to everything, whether you realize it or not. They may not be paying attention to the exact things that you're wanting them to pay attention to, but they are paying attention. And for you to have this expectation of putting them in a box and telling them that they have to be this way, that's like putting a square peg in a round hole. It doesn't work that way. If you truly love your children, and I know you do, you mean well, I get that. I do love my son. I love my son very much. And I learned a lot of lessons because I realized I wasn't paying attention to certain things. There were things I was watching and paying attention to when it came to him, but there was a lot of things that I really wasn't. And you know what? I'm not here to beat myself up over it. I've done a lot of healing with it. I've done a lot of forgiveness for it. But to be aware of it now when they're still children, instead of waiting until they've already grown up. My son now, he's amazing. He's always amazing. I'm very grateful to have him in my life. I'm very grateful to have him as my son. And so, to truly understand where it's really at, and for us to be more compassionate and not take our angers out on our children. They don't understand that part. They don't understand why you're upset. They don't understand why you're having issues or whatever's going on with you. All they know is love. They know unconditional love. Children are acting out a certain way because it's all they know. It's all they know. They don't know anything else except for what they see. But actually, I take that back. It's not all they know. They know something so much more because they're connected to the universe. They're connected to spirit. And what they're feeling from you is not spirit. What they're feeling from you, the anxiety, the pain, the anger, the frustration, fears, whatever you're dealing with, that is not spirit. And so it's going against their grain. It's going against their understanding what spirit really is. So of course they're going to act out. But I'll tell you what, this year, there's so much energy shifting. There's so much changing in this world. There's so much evolving that I truly believe that children are going to be a lot more powerful. They'll still be loving, they'll obviously be loving. But they're going to know things. They're going to understand things a lot more. And they're going to teach you. It's not an ego trip to be something for the children to teach a parent. There's nothing wrong with that. That's a beautiful thing. That is an awesome thing. Because sometimes we have a tendency to lose ourselves. When we grow up to be adults, we have a tendency to lose ourselves. And so therefore, having that innocence around us, having that child, having the children around us get to teach us what we already knew, but we lost for a little while. It's a beautiful thing. It's an amazing thing. And it is so necessary for us to be where we are with this world. Because it's so time for us to stop with the fears, stop with the anxieties, stop with the angers. I get it. I get it so much. I understand where the power of all of what happened. It's because of all the programming. But the programming is no longer relevant. It's obsolete. The programming is no longer valid for the way we live anymore. People are waking up. People are realizing this. People are seeing this in such a new light, in a new way. This is the true Christ consciousness that is happening. This is the second coming. The second coming is us, not just one man who said something, what he said. He was talking about all of us waking up and realizing. That was what he did. He was a teacher. He was teaching us. It's put that simple. People put it in a complex way and it's not even necessary. It's not needed. And they put it in a complex way to confuse us, to frustrate us, to deter us from the true reality of what is going on. And people are figuring it out more and more. That's why people are living longer. That's why people are actually learning to be in a happy state without worrying about what's going on in the world. I get the idea that it's harsh. It sounds harsh. But I'll tell you what, it's way more compassionate than being in the state of fear and anger and we're not meant to live our lives in a state of suffering. We end up doing what we do. We learn what we learned from what we did, what things we went through, and we learn to grow from it. We learn to forgive it. These things that happen with the people that we had in our lives, we learn from it. All of it. And because of learning what we learn from it, we get to grow and we get to make a choice. And we get to actually say, I'm done with this. I'm ready for a new story. I'm ready for a new life. And you know what? Anything is possible. That is one thing I have always believed. That anything and everything is possible. And that is one thing I did teach my son. I taught him that anything is possible. That everything is limitless. It is all infinite. Infinite possibilities of how you can live your life. Wow. I know that sounds like a lot. But I'll tell you what, it's very invigorating. It's very liberating. It's just, it's magnificent. So, I have an offer for you to where I do one-on-one sessions. And if you would like to do a one-on-one session with me in Compassion Key Healing, I am offering a complimentary 45-minute discovery call to see how things work with you and whether or not it is something that is right for you. I truly believe that this is so necessary because I also realize that our childhood is what shapes us. Our childhood is what allowed us to be a certain way, what allowed that to happen. And because we allowed it, we made the choices that we made. It's time to stand up and take responsibility because we're not here to blame people. And taking responsibility is not you blaming yourself. It's just understanding where it was really at. I made the choices that I made that allowed me to be where I am today. I made the choices that I made. And I know that I am making better choices now because of my awareness of what I did and what I am doing for myself. And because of the choices that I'm making now, I feel so much more love and more light and more excitement and more happiness and more joy and more peace. Having the peace of mind to know that I'm doing all right. I'm doing well. I'm doing very well with my life, no matter what I do or where I go. And we all have that. We all have that ability. We all have that choice. And it's a beautiful thing. So, if you would like to learn whether or not compassion key healing is a good fit for you, please email me and I will put the email down below. And you can set up an appointment with me with that email. Very soon I'll be having a website up as well. And things are really turning out. Things are really working out so well. And if you like this video, I would love for you to click on that like button and subscribe to my channel, as well as and put a comment down below. See where you're at with it. What you think about it. I'd love to know. Maybe I can be able to help you further if there is something that you're not agreeing with. Who knows? All right. I love you all, and I thank you all for your love and support. Such an exciting adventure awaits. Not just for me, but you guys as well. So you have a wonderful New Year's, and have a wonderful whole new year. And I look forward to hearing from you and maybe even talking with you. That would be wonderful. Universal love and namaste.